Hello, everyone. So, today I'm going to be going ahead and essentially just breaking down how I trade. That's really it. Just how I trade, what I see, how I see it, and what I do when I see it. Who, what, when, where, why, you know? But, anyways, we're going to be going ahead and covering essentially today and yesterday, things like that. So, what we're going to do first, or what I like to do, because we're going over how I trade, is I essentially go over to my hourly, right? I look at my hourly, see what's going on, you know? Oh, hey, look at that. So this is off of earlier this morning, a little bit after market open. We see a nice little hourly order block here. Okay, right? So that's why I'm going to be looking for a price to react of, because we are in a constant downtrend, right? So we're going to be looking for a little bit of recovery, especially after we took out this swing low right here for the sell side. So we have enough liquidity to push up, right? So that's what I'm taking into account. That okay, we're coming up, right? Because we have liquidity. We swept that big old low. So after that, we know what we have. We know where we want to go, right? When and where. So we have that. Now we're gonna go to market open, right? This is one of the trades I did take. So I'm gonna go, okay, it does look extremely choppy, right? Super choppy. But it's okay. Well, that's what the lower time frames are for, you know? That's what the lower time frames are for. So we're gonna go to 6:30 a.m. for me. So I am PST. But this is price action when I was trading. Terrible, right? Yes, you may think so. I may know so. I felt like it was. But, you know, I know it's not good to trade when you don't like price action, right? And that's honestly for the best way to do it. If you don't like price, don't trade it. But if you do see something, right, as a catalyst, if you do see something that's a confluence enough to give you an entry, essentially, is just go for it. So here actually at 6:05, right, on Tuesday, this low we took out on NQ, but not ES, right? So here we do have SMT. And one thing about SMT, super important, right? Super important. When you have SMT, it is, I personally don't take the trade unless it's NQ that creates the SMT, as ES does lead majority of the time, right? So if ES takes the low, then NQ is going to come take the low. But NQ takes the low first, that's when we're going to see SMT. That's when we see something happen. So here, this is one of our catalysts, right? And if we look over to our left, right, we have this big old gap. We didn't quite exactly fill that gap completely, but here we did, right? That wick down, we filled that gap. So we have a gap fill and we have SMT. And this is a retracement on an upwards trend, right? So, okay, we have the retracement, we have SMT, we have gap fill, and we also have some liquidity, of course, you know, volume and all that jazz. Now, another thing I like to do is I like to look at my volume profile, right? So price would be over to here, and would you look at that? Another SMT, gap fill, liquidity, consolidation area, volume, point of interest, super solid. So among all that like terrible price action, we had all these things sitting right here. So that is actually what gave me the idea to take the trade, right? So here, right, I have all my confluences now. So now what I'm looking for is confirmation, right? What I'm going to use for confirmation, right, is I'm going to see this consolidation right here, and I'm going to look for a breakout, right? So I'm going to have a buy order, however you want to do it, right? So I'm going to have a buy order set, going to take the trade like that, right? So we'll take the buy order right there. And if I were to show you how I would like to risk my trades, I like to go the previous candle out, right? The previous candle out. So for us, that'd be this candle right here, right? So the bottom of that candle is usually my stop, a little bit below it. My target in this case is, I don't like to go for big hits. I just like to go for whatever's closest, right? But a reason I like trading New York is because those close highs, those close lows, those first swings, they are a good amount of points away. They will you will get 50 points fast within 3 1-minute candles. So that's why I like to go for zones and my nearest highs and lows. All right. So here, right, we got our confirmation. We got the close above. We had that strong candle right there. We had the doji, that wick down. That's our confirmation. Close above, go up. And I just trying to buy entry notification actually. So yeah, that's how I took my long this morning. That gave me a cool little bada bing bada boom. I actually had a limit order at the bottom of this order block here. So that only gave me 54 points. But I mean, hey, that's 54 points, right? How I trade too, I do have a certain style of risk. I like to risk more on my first trade, right? If that trade doesn't go through, I don't trade anymore. If it does, right, I'll go down in size, keep trading. So I took one mini, right? I took a mini long, targeted this high. Quick little 500 bucks, you know. After that, what I did was I hopped off. Simple as that. I hopped off. I want to go play Roblox, do whatever I want to do, get on my day. Because the one thing I've learned is take your green, dude. Honestly, like keep it green for the day. The more you trade, the more you are prone to a loss, right? The first trade you take is always going to be the best trade usually. A good majority of the time because that's when your mind's clear. That's the first time you're looking at the chart, you know. And actually going back to that, when you're looking at the chart, don't look at the chart to trade. Don't look for the chart to take an entry. Look for a chart for a setup. You know, from your setup, go for your confirmation. From your confirmation, take your trade. From your trade, take your confluences to see if it continues and see if it's going to your target. Just like that. But anyways, that's how I break it down. So just go over it super quick, right? If I could find where price is currently at. I start off my hourly or my 4-hour. Look at what we just did. See if we have a catalyst, you know, like big old liquidity sweep on a higher time frame, tapping into an order block on a higher time frame, things like that, right? Next up, my other confluences, right? Whether it's SMT, whether it's a rejection after a 50%, whether it's a liquidity sweep, things like that, you know, those are my confluences that I use. Third, confirmation. Do we get a close above or below? I personally like to wait for breakouts. That's my style of trading. I look for a retracement and then a breakout. So nice close above or below, whatever section we're trading. After that, just go for your target. One thing that is super important is manage your risk properly. If you're going into premium, you're trading at the proper areas and levels, you wouldn't need to be risking too much. You don't need to risk like a crazy amount and go for a 1-to-1 or anything like that, right? Like granted 1-to-1, you know, it's safe depending on your risk, right? But me personally, I like to go for high probability setups, high probability areas to where I don't need to risk as much, and it's worked out, you know. The only time that I find myself going negative for the day is when I start over trading. So that's that. And of course, focus on one range, dude. Like whether it's a 4-hour candle, a 1-hour candle, a 1-minute swing, just focus on that because that's all you need to work on. Because if you think about it, you're not trying to trade the whole day. You're trying to trade for X amount of time, or essentially until you find whether you have a trade, whether you have a setup or not, or whether or not you should just hop off for the day. That's really it. Well, if you guys have any more questions, you guys know where to find me. Join at me in the Discord. I don't check my messages or anything like that, so just make sure to add me in general, okay? You guys have a good day.